Emily Thornberry, your Shadow Attorney General, you were obviously closely involved in all this. Did you approve of everything that happened?
It's difficult to know where to start. We've had so many sort of straw men put up before us tonight. We're such a long way away from what the reality is. Can I start by saying how pleased we were that we managed to get all three parties to agree on this Royal Charter, which needed to be underpinned by statute in order to stop a future government either making it more draconian or watering it down. We need to be able, after 20 months of scandal, of Leveson, of looking at the way in which the press have been behaving, where they were essentially behaving as if they were above the law, as if nothing applied to them. You know, of course I understand that there is the criminal law that people can sue, but imagine if you're somebody whose child is suddenly killed and the press arrives at your doorstep and they start writing things that are fundamentally untrue about you, and there's nowhere that you can turn. And the PCC, which was the original body beforehand, which was run by the press, for the press, simply didn't have the teeth that was necessary. We needed to have a regulator that had some teeth. Of course, we all wanted to keep it away from political interference. The idea that politicians want to mute the press, it's just all hyperbole and nonsense. We want to have a press that is responsible. And I think that we have, as politicians, done everything we can to put together something which, frankly, is reasonable. And what we need now is the press to have a reasonable response and for us to be able to move together with some semblance of goodwill about this. Because, yes, it is about victims, and it is about powerless victims who have been mistreated by the press. I'm not talking about celebrities. Of course they can sue if they wish to. I'm talking about it being possible that it could happen to any of us. And the press could arrive on your doorstep, and we need to make sure the press behaves themselves in a way which is reasonable and responsible. And if they write something which is untrue, instead of putting an apology, they put it on the front page, right, the untruth, and then the lie goes on the front page, and then, you know, 2 years later, you'll get an apology on page 16, which will be in tiny little print, and that is simply
they've already agreed to do that.
Oh, well, good. Well, then what is the problem? We will make sure that the regulator ensures that they do it. But the regulator will be people that the press themselves will nominate to go onto this body, and they, you know, and there will be another body above that to make sure it doesn't go completely rogue. But that's the idea, and that's why we need to have some statutory underpinning of this. And it is a reasonable compromise.
The man in the blue shirt there, you said.
One of my concerns is the fact that regulating the press may be a good or a bad idea, but I get most of my information now from Twitter and social media. How's these Royal Commission going to be able to control the press that way?
Do you think it should or shouldn't?
Sorry?
Do you think it should or shouldn't?
I don't think it's possible. I don't think today it's possible. With modern technology, the information is going to get out there. So no matter what happens...